All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to your practice. It is a rainy day here in southwestern Pennsylvania. And so if you're experiencing a rainy end of summer or fall day, or just a day that you would like to be inside and move a little bit, then this practice might be for you. So we'll do a well-rounded practice, kind of a flowy practice, get into all the parts, move the energy, and then have a nice relaxation at the end. So I'll invite you, as I have Tortilla here wanting to help out. I'll invite you to go ahead and either come onto your belly in crocodile pose or lie down onto your back. So if laying on your belly is not appropriate for you, then go ahead and lay down on your back. Just find a position that you're comfortable to kind of settle in, okay? So I'm gonna turn this way and see what Tortilla happens to do if he wants to join. So if you're in crocodile with me, stretch the legs out long behind you. You can cross at the forearms and let your toes face whatever direction's most comfortable there. And then soften your belly and release your forehead to your forearms or to a block if you have one, a pillow. And start to feel your body settle in. Notice the sounds around you, either inside or outside of your practice space. You'll keep your head resting. I'll just lift my head a little bit so I don't sound like I'm in a tunnel. And as you rest here, notice any areas of your body that need a little bit of extra attention today, a little bit of sensitivity or care, and maybe commit to caring for those parts. So Hatha Yoga in the Himalayan tradition about energy management. And so we want to make sure we take care of the areas that need care, wake up the areas that need waking up, etc. And then you might notice yourself breathing. And so without any extra effort, start to notice when your breath finds a smooth pace, even, no extra work. Just a few more breaths here to center ourselves, come onto our mat and into our practice. Kind of let everything that we can move off to the side for a few minutes. We can pick those tasks, those responsibilities up later. And then when you're ready, gently rock your head from side to side. We'll place the hands underneath the shoulders and we'll press up to hands and knees. So have your hands a comfortable distance apart, your knees a comfortable distance apart here. And a slight little engagement in the belly. So a little bit of engagement there. As you inhale, lift the heart, reach it forward. And as you breathe out, round the spine and tuck the chin. So simple cat-cows here. Notice where the weight is shifting over the hands or over the knees. And again, you can coordinate with this with the breath or just let the breath be natural. And you can stay here, moving into extension and flexion. If you'd like, you can start to make some circles through the rib cage in one direction. You can let the head go with it here, let the hips move too. And maybe switch directions. Notice how your spine feels today. Any areas you want to pay extra attention to. And then come back to center, bring the big toes together. You can widen the knees and move your hips back towards your heels. So you may stay a little more upright depending on your knees. You may move back, the hips back towards the heels. So find a comfortable space. So beginning of practice, these days I'm finding that I want to stay a little more lifted in the chest. So I prop up on my forearms here just to give my belly and my chest some space. And again, find that smooth, steady breath. We're going to stretch out our arms, walk the arms over to the right, maybe off of your mat, and move the hips back. You can release the head any amount. And a little, maybe find some stretch along the left side of the body. Keep the belly soft as you walk back to center, and then walk the hands over to the right, or excuse me, over to the left, the other side, the other direction, and release your head. You can really press into the hands if you want to make a little more active, or really soften. And then walk your hands back to center, press into both hands equally. We're going to come up to hands and knees. Now, always today, instead of down dog, if you want to keep the head in line with the heart instead of below it, an alternative to down dog today will be this tabletop pose. Okay, so whenever I cue down dog, if you would rather take tabletop, then that's all good. All right. So if you're moving into down dog with me, maybe walk your hands forward, tuck your toes. We're going to lift our hips up and back. Keep the knees bent here. Tell I was outside earlier, I have some leaves on my feet. Keep the knees bent here. And whether you're in table or in down dog, you can stretch one leg longer than the other. And then maybe pedal the feet if you're in down dog, or stretch one leg behind you if you're in tabletop pose. Again, just take some free movement here. Still checking things out, warming up nice and slow. And then we'll come back to center. We're going to lower the knees and let them hover just above the floor. If you're in table, you can slightly lift the knees. And then lift up and back, downward facing dog. Okay, a couple more times. So let the knees hover. Look forward with the heart. And then release. Back to downward facing dog or table. One more time. Start to feel that action around the core, the ribs. And up and back, downward facing dog. Walk your hands back towards your feet, into your forward fold. Let your head be heavy. You can grab opposite elbows, kind of rock from side to side. And then release, bend the knees, round up the spine, one vertebra at a time. You can hear the door there. My husband is home from kayaking. And then go ahead and walk yourself up to the top of your mat, and we'll come into mountain pose here. So hands down by your side, reach the arms down, reach to the top of the head. And as you breathe in, reach the arms wide and up overhead, get a little taller. Grab your left wrist with your right hand and side bend to your right. You can move the hips to the left, and then come back through center. Grab your right wrist. Move the hips to the right, so you lean left. And one more time to each side. Press into the feet. Come back to center, side bend one more time. And come back to center. Reach both arms up and then bend the elbows wide. Lift the heart as you draw the shoulder blades together behind you. Inhale, reach the arms up, come back to neutral. And then move the elbows back and down as you lift the heart up. Nice, reach the arms up. And then hands come to heart center, mountain pose. And take a moment here, find your feet. Reach up through the top of your head here. This may be, if you do have blocks, you might grab them if you'd like to lift the floor up to you at any point. In lunges today, you can also use books. Okay, whatever you have, a chair. All right, we'll come to mountain pose towards the top of our mats. We'll move through some sun salutations, nice and easy, moving with your breath. So as you breathe in, reach the arms up and overhead. And as you breathe out, forward fold. Bring your fingertips to your shins, lift halfway, and then release forward, soften the knees. Bend the knees a lot, start to round up the spine, let your shoulders, your head come up last. Roll the shoulders up towards the ears, back and down. Let's take that again. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, forward fold, tuck your chin. Lift, halfway lengthen. And forward fold. Soften the knees. Start to round up the spine. A little spinal roll here. One vertebrae at a time. Roll the shoulders up towards the ears, back and down. Let's add on. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, forward fold. Lift, halfway lengthen. This may be where you'd like to bring your blocks in. And then step your right foot back and that knee comes down. Okay, back toes can be tucked or flat. Inhale, reach the arms up, maybe look up. And then plant the hands. We'll step back to table or downward facing dog. Nice, look forward. You can lower the knees to the floor if you like. Either way, we're gonna step that right foot forward into our lunge. Reach the arms up, lift the heart. And then hands come to the floor, step up and forward fold. Release your head and neck. Bend the knees, round up the spine. Roll the shoulders up, back and down, and release. Other side. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold forward. Lift, halfway lengthen, and step your left foot back, and the knee comes down. Reach the arms up. Take in all the sounds around you of your space, wherever you're practicing, whoever you're practicing with, and then release the hands. Come to downward facing dog. You can lower the knees if you'd like. We're gonna step that left foot forward, back knee comes down, and reach the arms up and overhead. Plant your hands, step up, forward fold. Soften your knees, the back of your head. As you round up the spine, draw the navel in and up. Roll the shoulders up, back and down, mountain pose. Nice. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Hopefully feeling some warmth in the body now. Halfway lift and send your right foot back. The knee comes down. This time, bring your hands inside your front foot and walk that foot over to the left, over to the wide edge of your mat. Reach your heart forward, and then maybe you lean the hips forward. So you can scooch this back knee back if you want to, or just leaning into the front of that hip. And then plant the hands, step to table or downward facing dog. You can pedal out the feet. So no sharp edges here. Keep it nice and flowing, kind of like the rain outside, at least here. And then gently help or step your right foot forward. That back knee comes down. Hand inside the foot, walk the foot out a little bit, give yourself some space. And then maybe let the hips soften forward as you reach your heart forward. Couple breaths here. This knee can come forward of the ankle if that's comfortable for you. You can check it out. And then plant the hands, step back, downward facing dog. Nice. We're going to walk our hands back towards our feet this time, to the back of our mat. Soften the knees and the head, and start to round up the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Roll the shoulders up towards the ears, back and down. Let's bring the hands to heart center. Look down at your mat and take a nice steady walk. Feel the feet from the heels through the arches, through the balls of the feet and the toes as you walk towards the top of the mat, mountain pose. Inhale, sweep the arms up here. Exhale, forward fold. We'll lift halfway and lengthen. And again, step that right foot back and the knee comes down. Okay. This time we'll take a few twists. So plant your right hand to a block or to the floor. And as you inhale, sweep that left arm out to the side and up, maybe look up. And then exhale, release. Let's take two more. So feel that spread across the front of the chest and the back of the heart. And then release. One more. Let's stay here for a breath or two. Press into the feet and that bottom hand and feel the lift in your heart. And then release the hands down, step back, downward facing dog. From here, look forward, bend the knees. You can step, walk, or hop towards the top of your mat, and then release your head and neck when you get there. Bend the knees, round up the spine, roll the shoulders up towards the ears, back and down, and release to mountain pose. Other side, inhale, sweep up. Breathe out, forward fold. Lift halfway and step that left foot back, the knee comes down. So fingertips to the floor or to a block. And when you're ready, sweep that right arm out to the side and up, spread your wings, and back down. 2 more with your breath. So feel the earth beneath you. You root down in. And from there, feel the heart lift, that top arm lift. Let's stay here for a breath or 2. You can look up or down. Feel all that space and the length of your spine. And then release. Plant your hands, downward facing dog. Look forward, bend the knees. You can step, walk, or hop up to the top of your mat. And then soften the knees again as you round up the spine. So these spinal rolls can be nice, a little bit different as we come back to mountain pose. All right, so take a moment here. You can close the eyes or gaze towards the floor. Notice any sensations in the body. You may notice that the breath has sped up a little bit, or the heart, you notice it beating. You may feel some warmth in different areas of the body. So just notice. And try to come back to that smooth, steady breath. Baxter saying hi now. And from here, we'll move into some standing posture. So take a step back with your right foot and open out to the wide edge of your mat. You can turn this back foot out. And then begin to bend into your front knee into something of a warrior 2. Something of a warrior 2. Reach your arms out to a T. So we start to take up some space. And from here, we'll move a little bit. So straighten your front leg, reach the arms up. You can look up for a little more balance challenge. And then look over your front hand as you bend the front knee, warrior 2. Let's keep going with that. So you move with your breath. Notice if there are any parts of the movement that you speed up on or tend to slow down. Can you move smoothly with your breath? Last one here. Let's keep that leg straight as we reach the arms up. This time, arms come to a T again. Reach forward, tilt at your hips, and then this bottom hand comes to wherever it comes for support. Reach the top arm to the sky, open the heart, triangle pose. Press into the outer edge of that back foot as you reach up to the sky. Nice. And then look down towards your big toe, bend your front knee, forearm to thigh, and then maybe we sweep this top arm over the ear for side angle pose. Lots of variations to this pose, so take what works for you. Your bottom hand may come to the floor. Your top hand may come behind you. Back to warrior 2. Nice. And then let's take a lunge. So cartwheel your hands to frame your front foot. Lift your back heel. Your back knee can come to the floor if that's more supportive for you. We're going to walk our left foot over to the left, hands inside, and take lizard pose. So we did a variation of this earlier. You can stay a little more upright, always reaching your heart forward. You can start to bring your forearms to blocks. Maybe I'll do that today. Your forearms can also come towards the floor, but we're not crunching forward, right? We're continuing to think heart reaches forward. Okay. As the hips sink down, any amount. And then from here, start to walk your hands back up if your arms were lowered. Walk your hands towards the center of your mat. Turn your toes to the wide edge of your mat. You may need to adjust your stance. You're going to reach the heart forward and then forward fold, any amount. So you may stay a little more upright, that's fine. We just want to get a little bit of stretch in the back of the legs maybe, but the feet are still active, hands still active. Nice. And then walk the hands forward, heel toe your feet towards one another, bend the knees, start to round up the spine one vertebrae at a time, roll the shoulders up, back and down, and release. Nice. Let's come towards the top of our mats once again. And take a step back with your left foot, open out to the wide edge of your mat. So adjust your stance longer or shorter. And bend into your front knee, arms come to a T shape here. So kind of find your starting point where you want to begin in your warrior two. And from here, we'll move with the breath. So inhale, straighten the front leg, reach up, get taller. And then exhale, sink into your warrior two. All right, keep going with your breath. This back leg is your anchor, so keep that back leg engaged, the foot strong. And again, you can follow this front hand, your right hand with your gaze if you'd like. Last one here, reach up, maybe look up, keep that front leg straight, arms to a T, and then reach forward. This bottom hand lands where it lands. So you could have it under a block or on the floor or to the shin. We'll take a moment here in triangle pose. So real easy to kind of sink into the pose. Can you press into the feet and reach up through the heart and the top hand? Nice. Bend this front knee, forearm to thigh, sweep the top arm over the ear, side angle pose. And again, we tend to forget the back leg, right? So press into that back leg as you reach the heart up, reach to the top of your head. Breathing as smooth as you can as you come back to warrior two. Cartwheel your hands to frame your front foot. We'll come into that lunge. Walk your right foot over to the right, hands inside. And keep kind of moving, wiggling, adjusting your stance until you can sink the hips as low as you wish. Okay, what's interesting feels good to you. Heart extends forward. And then if you'd like, if it's interesting, you can start to lower the forearms to blocks or to the floor. Or stay a little bit more upright. So a little more upright can give us some more space here. Few more breaths here. And where can you soften? So this can be, I find myself gripping in my jaw maybe, or my eyes are super focused. Where can I soften? And we'll come on back up. Turn your toes to face the wide edge of your mat. Adjust your stance. Reach your heart forward and forward fold. Hands can walk back between the feet or forward. If you want a variation on down dog here, let your head relax as much as you can. Begin to heel toe your feet towards center. You can bend the knees as much as you'd like. And start to round up the spine, one vertebra at a time. Pull up on the low belly. Roll the shoulders up, back and down. Nice. So we'll stay here. You can come to the top of your mat if you wish, but I'll stay here for our balance posture here. You're going to have your hands at heart center. Find a non-moving point out ahead of you. And we'll shift our weight into our right foot and draw that left knee in and up. So you can keep this left foot active. So find nice one long line of energy from this bottom foot through the top of your head. And then we'll swing that knee out and place the foot on the inner leg, or toes can stay on the floor today if you need a little bit more stability. Okay, so you choose where your foot wants to be today and press the heel of the foot into the leg or into the ankle. You can keep the hands pretty contained or reach the arms up and overhead. And then we'll draw that knee back towards center, hands back towards center, standing staff. You can take a second tree pose, or outer ankle comes just above the standing knee for standing figure 4. So staying a little more upright or a little bit more challenge, you can start to sit the hips back into an imaginary chair. Again, the heart, just like in lizard pose, our entire practice today is lifting up as we move the energy down, root into the earth. And feel free to wobble. That's all a part of the practice. And whenever you're ready, press down, knee into chest one more time. You're welcome to put the foot down at any time. And then release. Go ahead and shake it out. So hopefully you're feeling it a little bit in the standing leg. And we'll take the other side. So shift your weight into your left foot. Draw that knee in and up. So get a little bit taller as you press down into your standing leg. Rotate that knee externally out. And then foot comes where it may. So you may want to help it along if you want the foot to come a little bit higher. You may decide that you want your foot a little bit lower today. And allow all those amazing muscles around the calf, the ankle, the foot to be working for you and do their adjustments. Our job is to continue that smooth, steady breath. Arms can reach up. Last few breaths. And then unwind, knee comes back into the chest again. We'll keep this balance going. You're welcome to take a second tree pose or take that figure 4. Press the ankle into the thigh, thigh into the ankle, and maybe you sit back and down. Keep some softness around the eyes. Last breath or two here. And then press down to stand up, draw the knee into the chest, and release the foot down. Nice. Go ahead and shake it out. We're going to move to the top of our mats and make our way to the floor. So inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Lift halfway, heart reaches forward. And let's step back to table or downward facing dog. And again, you can pedal the feet if you have any excess tension that needs to be pedaled out. Or stay still, steady your gaze. And then slowly, slowly lower the knees to the floor. Use the core muscles, the back muscles here. And when you find the knees touching the floor, maybe widen the knees, bring the big toes to touch, and press back to your child's pose. So notice how this child's pose is different from the one we did at the beginning of practice. No judgment, just noticing. Let your belly be soft. Last breath or two here. Just coming back to the earth, settling back down. And then we'll look forward and come on to our tummies. So let the legs come out long behind you. You can move props out of the way here if you were using them. And come back to crocodile pose. All right, so you can untuck the toes, bring the arms out in front of you, cross at the forearms, and rest your head. And this may be the extension that you're looking for today for our passive back bend, all right? If it's okay, we're looking for a little back bend in the mid-back, upper back region, you might start to walk your elbows back towards you, maybe a little bit ahead of the shoulders, maybe underneath the shoulders here. Shoulders draw away from the ears, and a gentle drawing up of the low belly to give some support around the low back. Maybe you keep a hold of the elbows, maybe you release the forearms parallel in front of you. We're coming into Sphinx pose here. So there's this internal dance of, as you exhale, the navel draws gently in for support. And as you inhale, you draw the heart forward. So I kind of think of pulling back on the forearms here. And we'll be here for about a minute. So our opportunity to settle into the pose, notice how it changes over time. And most importantly, to cultivate a smooth, steady breath. You may notice that you need to adjust your posture. So maybe you need to walk the elbows forward, maybe back, maybe shift the hips a little bit. Last 3 breaths or so. And then slowly, slowly start to wave your way down. You can create a pillow with your hands and rest your head on your hands here. Take a deep breath into the low back and maybe a side of the mouth. Feel the low back soften. Maybe one more just like that. Now bring the chin or forehead to the floor, reach the arms alongside your body, and bring the feet a little bit closer together. We exhale, navel draws in, and as we inhale, we lift the upper body, the arms, and then maybe we hover the legs. So you're welcome to leave the legs on the floor today. That works better for you in this locust pose. So the whole back body is engaged. Notice if the chin is jutting forward, you want to be able to swallow. So tuck the chin just slightly, gaze just ahead of you here on your mat. Last breath. And then release. You can turn your head to a side or again, make a pillow with your hands and rest. And we'll come back to center. Again, bring the legs close. Arms can be by your sides, or a little bit more challenging is arms out to cactus shape or a goalpost. So navel draws in gently, and as you inhale, lift the upper body. When you feel good there, maybe lift the legs. About 3 to 5 breaths here. Noticing if you need to lift or lower to kind of get an even distribution of work from the head to the toes. And then release. Again, you can turn your head the opposite direction or make a pillow with your hands and rest. Last round here, legs close, arms down into cactus, or you can reach the arms overhead. It's kind of this Superman, Superwoman pose. Navel to spine, and when you're ready, lift and hover the upper body. Maybe lift and hover the legs. So notice what happens to the breath when you increase the challenge for you or back off a little bit. The breath is paramount. So breath is steady, smooth, smooth as you can. And release. Create a pillow with your hands. Bend the knees. Start to sway the knees from side to side. Nice and slow. Think of some release around the hips, the low back here. And then we'll come back to center. Place the hands underneath the shoulders. Press into the knees and the hands to come up. Hands and knees. Keep the spine pretty neutral here. You're going to look over your right shoulder. Start to bring the right hip towards the right armpit. And then come back to center. Look over your left shoulder. Bring that left hip to the left armpit. And back to center. Kind of sway from side to side just like that. So making a C shape with the spine here. One more time to each side. Then we'll come back to center, move our hips off to one side, and come to a seat. So here's where you might want to have something underneath your bum. You might have a blanket or blocks, a cushion. We're going to take a twist. So go ahead and simple cross-legged, bring the left shin in front of the right. Settle into your seat as you lift up through the heart, and then reach the arms out, around, and up, get taller. And then we'll twist towards the left and bring the hands down. So opposite hand to knee, one hand behind you as a kickstand. As you breathe in, feel yourself get taller. And as you breathe out, keep that height as you squeeze the belly, maybe twist a little bit more. So you may find as you inhale, you come out of the twist ever so slightly. And then as you exhale, you move into the twist. So maybe play with that a little bit. Last breath or two here. And then release, unwind. Walk your hands forward of your shins. Again, you can stay more upright or start to lower towards the floor. Press into the hands to come on back up. We'll bring the hands behind us, uncross, recross the legs, right shin in front of the left. Settle down into your seat as you reach up and twist towards your right. Release the hands down. And again, as you feel the breath come in, lift the heart to the top of the head. And as you breathe out, turn on the core muscles to twist in. And you might find that moving in and out, breathing in and then breathing out. Notice how that affects the twist here. And if you find a place you want to stay, go ahead and stay. We'll breathe here nice and smooth. Couple more breaths. Slowly unwind, walk your hands forward of your shins, reaching the heart forward all the way, and then maybe lower to the floor. I'm going to stay a little bit more upright. Press into your fingertips. If you're a little more upright, press down into the sit bones and feel the front of the spine get a little taller. If you're deciding to fold forward, you can round the upper back and release your head. Walk your hands back towards you, sit on up, and then we'll lengthen the legs out long in front of us. Go ahead and come to the center of your mat. And the feet can be hip distance apart. The feet can also be a little wider. So if you'd like a little more space for your chest and your belly, go ahead and widen the feet. Give yourself some more space. So inhale here, reach the arms up, get a little taller, and again, press down into your seat. And then from here, lean forward a little bit. You can start to release your hands down inside or outside of the legs. We always want to keep a nice, long, low back as we start to lean forward any amount. And if you find that the upper back starts to round and it feels all right, that's great, go for it, okay? So keep nice, long, low back here. And we'll be here for some time, so there's no need to force the body into the posture. In fact, we don't want to do that. We want to come to our first edge here, kind of where we feel something, okay? And stay there for a little bit. Allow your body to breathe. Let your belly be soft. And over time, you might notice that something changes. And so maybe you want to shift, you want to walk back, you want to walk or lean forward. So as you listen to your body will invite you to do what is most beneficial for you today. Last few breaths here. We like to come out pretty slowly, so press into the hands, gather your low belly as you start to walk the spine slowly back upright. Gaze straight ahead, lift the heart, and then start to soften in the knees, place the feet flat to the floor. We're going to come onto our backs. So have your props around you. We're making our way towards our final relaxation. So have any props that you need around you as we start to lay down here. Just a few more stretches before we're done. So laying down onto your back, draw your right knee in towards your chest. You can hug behind the thigh or front of the shin. Soften the shoulders, the backs of the hips. And just the weight of the hands, just the weight of the arms pulls or is used to bring that knee towards the chest. So we're not gripping or pulling or over-efforting in any way. And if you'd like, if it's available to you, go ahead and lengthen your other leg long. But again, always noticing that we soften the shoulders, soften the jaw. And then some nice smooth inhales and exhales here. So you might find that a count of 4 as you inhale, maybe a count of 5 or 6 as you exhale is helpful. Last breath or two here. Then draw your right knee just outside your rib cage, just outside the ribs, not much farther, into this half happy baby variation. Again, soften the shoulders. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you reach for the outer edge of the foot. Keep the hips softening to the floor. So this is kind of like our lizard pose that we did, our lunge that we did earlier in the practice, with maybe a little less effort. And then release, bring that knee back to center. Maybe draw the forehead up towards the knee. And set that foot and the head down. We'll draw the left knee in towards the chest and just take a moment here with that right knee bent, foot flat to the floor. And soften the backs, the shoulders, the head, the back of the hips. Just the weight of the hands pulls that knee in towards the chest. And you can stay here. You can lengthen your right leg long. And again, maybe extending the exhale a few counts longer than the inhale. Starting to feel things slow down. And then draw that left knee just out to the left. Maybe feel some sensation along the front of the thigh or in the groin area, inner thighs. And again, if you'd like, you can reach inside the leg for the shin, the ankle, or the outside edge of the foot. But we're not over efforting here. So if it means that you're up and gripping, it's really not worth it. So you can come back a step or two, really looking for some relaxation, some letting go. Okay. And just a few more breaths here. We'll come back to center, draw both knees in towards the chest this time. And gently let the knees sway from side to side. You can make some circles on the low back. Draw the knees in one direction, then the other. You might circle the knees away from each other. Just trying to get out any last little bits of tension that we can. Circle in the opposite direction. Nice, and release. Bring the feet to the floor. Let the feet come wide, let the knees touch in towards center. You can let the hands rest on the body or come away from the body, palms face up. And here's where we start to take whatever we need to make ourselves fully comfortable so the body can relax in Shavasana. So that may mean a blanket underneath the head or something behind the knees. If you'd like to lengthen the legs out long instead, you might tuck something underneath the knees here so that you feel yourself fully supported. Another tip is to make sure that you're warm. So you might, if it's cold in your space, you might place a blanket over the body or put socks on. You've got time here as I'm talking to kind of adjust. Another great option is to have a scarf or a light piece of material over the eyes. So you can kind of block out some of the light that can initiate the relaxation response as well. So I'll give you about 60 seconds or so to make your adjustments, kind of fidget and wiggle until you find that near perfect, okay, spot to relax in. And then as you find a place of comfort, we'll begin to cultivate stillness. We'll start to settle and know that you can move at any time. So if at any time the body or the mind starts talking to you that we need to shift a little bit, then feel free. And eventually over time, you'll start to feel the body settle and get still. You can begin to take in sounds around you, maybe the happenings in your practice space or in your home. And then allow those sounds to start to fade a bit into the distance as you come back onto your mat and into your body. The next time you feel the breath come in, fill the belly, the rib cage, and the heart. And when the exhale comes, soften the heart, the rib cage, the belly. You could even sigh out of the mouth. Let's do that. So inhale, fill the belly, the rib cage, and the heart. Inhale through the nose. And exhale, sigh out of the mouth. Soften. A couple more times, just like that. Take your time, no rush. As you exhale, feel the whole back body settle a little bit further into your props, onto your mat, even into the earth. Last one. And if you know your body needs a few more of those kind of cleansing, settling breaths, go for it. Go ahead and take that. And when you're ready to relax control of your breath, just come back to your breath in and out of your nose. Just let your breath be as it is. No work. We'll allow here just 2 minutes. Of course, I encourage more if you have the time. But just 2 minutes here of quiet. Let your body settle as much as it can. And the mind will wander, it will move, it will think. That's normal. But when you notice that wandering, simply draw your attention back to your breath. Again and again and again. Just a couple minutes here. Now begin to come back to your body on your mat and allow your breath to gently deepen over time, over the next 3-5 breaths or so. And start to move that breath energy to fingers and the toes. And make some small movements here. And gently turn your head from side to side. Again, if you can remain here in your relaxation longer, please do. Just ignore what I have to say as we come out. Ideally, you're able to practice Shavasana for at least 10 minutes. But if it's time to move on, go ahead and stretch. You can bring the arms overhead. You can keep the eyes closed or the gaze very soft. Stretch from fingers to toes. And then we'll bend the knees and gently roll to one side. Taking your time. You can rest your head on your arm or on a blanket or a block here, cushion. And again, feel your body sink into your support. And then use your hands, your arms to slowly press to a nice, comfortable seat. So you can sit on the shins, you can sit cross-legged like we did at the beginning of practice here. But find your spine tall. Hands come to heart center here as we close. And gently close the eyes, bow your forehead. Offering gratitude to your mind and your body and your breath for showing up today, for practicing on this rainy day here where I am. And today, as you move forward, may you take the benefits of your practice to benefit yourself and those around you. As you move forward, you have peace in your thoughts, in your words, and in your heart. Thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste. You can blink the eyes open, return as you're ready. Thank you, and I look forward to practicing with you again very soon.